Extreme, absolutely, and play with me. 9:15, let's have the weekly groan. And last week I was talking about changing the coolant/antifreeze in my Ford Galaxy. This is part 2 of that, because I have now actually changed the coolant out, and I tell you what, this will drive you insane. There is no easy way of doing it. A lot of vehicles have got a drain plug which you can unscrew and the coolant comes out. Mine has not got that. You've got to jack it up and get underneath it and take the hose off. And I know several other vehicles are like that as well, but a drain plug would be so much better. And this hose wasn't particularly on tight, but it's just trying to get to it. It's very, very awkward. I got the manual for this thing as well, and it says, before you do that, take the intercooler hose off. And we're trying to work out, well, why would you do that to change the coolant? Turns out you just take that off to get better access to the coolant hose, which is above it. But it would be nice if the manual actually said that. Anyway, drained it out. The other problem with the manual is it says, do this on the right-hand side of the car, or do this on the left-hand side. Well, what does that mean if you're under it, or if you're looking in front of it? What it needs to say is do this on the passenger side, or the hose on the driver's side. Nice and clear instructions. That would be jolly nice, but it doesn't say that. The other thing it doesn't say is when I had to take the thermostat out to drain the system further, the only way of doing that is to take the alternator off. And indeed, there is a picture that shows the thermostat being taken out, but the alternator is already removed. It doesn't say to do that. And I had a friend of mine helping me, which was very useful, and we had to get this thing off. It's probably never been off, and we had to tap that off. Probably not the best thing, but my goodness, was that on there very tight. And then getting the alternator back on, greased up the bits relevant, and that helped a bit, but it's quite a faff to then line it up to get the 2 bolts into it. You know, 7.5 hours all this took, not including testing and clearing up. 7.5 hours. I set aside probably 5 or 6, but in the end, this is complete. And the last thing I will say about this is it's a rubbish system. You know, many vehicles, they've got bleed screws or valves. There's the radiator cap. Mine, of course, hasn't got that. It's a closed system where you've got the expansion tank. That's the only way you can get coolant in. And I get how that works. It's higher than the rest of the system. So if you pour the coolant in slowly, all the air should come out. But I don't know, we are massaging the hoses to try and get air out. It's a job, I tell you what, I never want to do again.